All right, welcome you guys. I'm super pumped for this Zoom tonight. You guys are in for a treat with all the leaders that you're going to get to hear from tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alyssa Bowman. I've been with this company for almost 9 years. September will be 9 years. And you guys, I joined as a 22-year-old, had never tried a product, had no idea really what network marketing was, had no desire to be in sales, no experience. I was young, I was single, and I just wanted some extra cash. And now my life looks completely different. I'm married, I have a son, and I live in a totally different place. I mean, so many things have changed. We've been able to travel, give back, pay off debt. The list goes on and on and on, you guys. But tonight's Zoom is actually all about recruiting and overcoming objections. And so if you guys were not on Tuesday night Zoom with Val, it was amazing. Go watch the recording because she talked about ways to increase the amount of potential distributors you have. She talked about where to find them, messages to use. But tonight we're going to go a little bit further into the conversation with those conversations with those potential distributors and talk about those normal excuses we hear. You go ahead and just drop a 1 in the chat if in the last week you have heard one of these excuses. I'm too busy, I'm too shy, I've done something like that before and I failed, I'm too old, I don't want to be in sales, I don't have the personality. Okay, drop a 1 because we all hear those things, right? And we want to make sure that you guys feel confident addressing those objections that you are going to hear. There's no avoiding it. Doesn't matter what your message, how fabulous your first message is, most people are going to have some sort of objection. And we want to make sure when you guys are talking to potential distributors and you get those objections, you don't feel defeated, that you are expecting the objections and you are confident in tackling the objections. Because I can tell you, even some of the people that are on the Zoom right now that have joined me in this business, they all had an objection before they joined. We almost all have something we're nervous about or skeptical about. So our job as distributors is to help someone's confidence. Let them borrow your confidence until they have some of their own. Okay, so I'm super excited. We're gonna share some just other recruiting tips with you guys. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit of my story and how my recruiting changed, and then we'll dive into the objections. And so one of the things that completely changed for you guys, I didn't have any confidence in recruiting when I started. I was a very below average recruiter, maybe signing 1 or 2 distributors a month. I was aiming for my steps and rarely hit it. And about a year into my business, I had a conversation with someone who was a presidential at the time. And I was saying, to get to the rank that I want to be at, to make that kind of income, I have to sign more distributors. There's no way around it. I have to recruit more people or I'm never going to get there anyway in any time frame that I'm shooting for. And so I actually remember where I was when she told me this, but she said, you have to be as confident in the business as you are in the customer program. And I think a lot of you guys would probably agree that our customer program is legit. People get wholesale pricing. They don't have to become a distributor. They get a lifetime discount. Like, we can talk about it all day, every day. We know we're offering people the best deal. So once I made that shift of why would people not try the business, and I kind of added like even just a little bit of sassiness to it, like people are crazy for not spending just a little bit more money and giving them themselves the opportunity to make an extra income. And that confidence shift in me to offer the business to everyone completely changed the way I recruited distributors. And I became a mass enroller, if you will, but I didn't start that way, you guys. So at any point in your business, I want you to know that if your goal is to be able to sign 3, 5, 10, 20 distributors a month, you can make that switch. It doesn't matter what kind of enroller you are today. It's a learning process, and it's just a matter of planting seeds. The more seeds you plant, the bigger that harvest will be when it comes. So I am going to pass this over. We have a brand new presidential on here tonight that's going to share. Brielle, will you pop on here and just share some of your story with us?
Hey guys, my name's Brielle, and yes, I'm excited to say I'm officially a presidential diamond. It's only my second Zoom saying that, so it's still like sinking in for me. But I started this business 3 years ago in May. I actually started it because I wanted to be able to enjoy my summer, have that summer life. I have a house in Ocean City in New Jersey, and I wanted to be able to enjoy it with my friends and family. Was also in the midst of my senior year in college, so I was very busy and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was a psychology major, so I always knew I wanted to help people, but I just didn't know how. I also was very into fitness. I'm a group fitness instructor on the side, so I always thought like, okay, like I want to do something that helps people get healthy. So it just so happened this business fell into my lap at the right timing, and here I am 3 years later, fell in love with it, being able to help people get healthy. Definitely was not what I expected my life to be like, but I absolutely love it, and just sharing this opportunity with as many people as I can because I'm obsessed with the way I live now and being able to meet so many awesome people in the process too.
I love it. Okay, so proud of you. People are cheering you on in the chat, telling you how amazing you are. Why don't you just go ahead and dive into, before we do your objection, go ahead and just share like your #1 distributor signing tip. I know like across the board, that's what people always want to know. Like, I want to sign more distributors. How?
My #1 tip would be for you to be excited about the opportunity. Because if you are excited, your vibes are going to show. So you'll always see me talking on my stories, going live. I've been a really big fan of going live on my Facebook feed lately. And it was something I was originally very scared to do, but taking that step and doing that myself, I've noticed a huge difference because I've been bringing in so many people through Host to Post and everything. But once they see your face and they see you talk about the opportunity, how excited you are, whether you're scared or not, like whether you're messing up, doesn't have to be perfect, guys. I'm super awkward, doesn't matter. People love that and they enjoy it. I spilled my super reds all over my live video one time, and people were cracking up. They thought it was amazing, and literally got like 3 customers from the super reds, which I never had a customer from that before. But that's besides the point. It's not about distributors, but it's just about being you and being real because people appreciate it, whether you're perfect or not.
Perfect. Yep, super awkward over here too, always, even on Zoom, Facebook Live, Instagram, doesn't matter. But if you are perfect, people don't think they can do this business. Like if you have it all together, there are very few people that feel like they have their lives together. So if they feel like they need to be perfect to do this, they will not do it. Okay, so dive into the objections that you hear most often that you're going to talk about tonight.
So, well, the #1 reason why I decided not to join at first, which if you guys want to write in the chat, I would love to hear maybe how many times your enroller had to follow up with you, or maybe like how long it took you. It took me about 2 weeks, although I did watch a girl from my high school for years, and that's what first, like, I saw the business, but she never asked me. So the girl that asked me, I actually joined 2 weeks later after she asked me, and she followed up with me quite a few times. So I would love to hear that, because if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like not everyone that signs up right away, is saying yes immediately, that's normal. Look how many people in the chat probably, it took them some time to sign up. So feel that and know that that's okay. I said no because I was too busy. I was working on my senior thesis in college, and I was like a major dork in school. I cared so much about my grades. I got a 1B and I cried my eyes out for like 2 weeks. I thought I had no tears left because I was just like so sad over 1B. And I told the girl, I was like, yeah, like I cannot afford to commit to something else new on top of my schedule right now with school. And she just kept saying like, no, Brielle, like she was in my school too, actually. We went to school together. And she's like, no, like I'm doing this. This is my senior year too. Like we can do this together. Like, trust me, there's so many other girls that do this business. So I ended up jumping in. So now what I tell people, because I lived that, I was super busy when I joined the business. I say, and this is what my other biggest tip would be, and I know Jamie is probably going to say the same thing: voice message, voice message, voice message. With every objection, I use a voice message with what we call the fear felt found method. And basically, I tell them, like, I understood your same fear, but listen, like, this is what I found. And so what I say is, oh, I felt that same fear of being too busy to join the business, because I was a college student when I joined. I was taking 6 classes, working 2 jobs, trying to like handle a social life at the same time, being only 21 years old when I joined. And you know, I was able to overcome that. And what I found is that this business is made for busy people. So you share with them, you know, your experience of what maybe you started the business with, of what you're going through. So even if you want to, you know, send a voice message to yourself to practice in Facebook Messenger, you can forward that voice message over. So if you record a voice message to yourself and you go back maybe right underneath of it, too busy. Every time someone sends you the too busy objection, you could forward that same voice message to yourself. If you guys didn't know that, that's like a little tip. So it makes it so much easier for you to just forward the same thing over and over again. So that was one thing for me, definitely being too busy, and you show people how you were to be able to overcome that. Second thing was that I was too shy. Just like doing things like this, getting on Zooms and stuff like that, definitely was out of my comfort zone. When Kim, my upline, had me host my first power hour, I felt like I was gonna throw up. Like, I literally was so nervous to do it. I remember like writing down the tasks in a little notebook of exactly what we were gonna do. And I remember like going on my first Facebook Live, I said and like a million times, you guys, because I had no idea what I was gonna say. I was freaking out. My face was turning all red and hot. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. Even like I had to get my senior thesis in college, I bit all of my fingernails off. So I am not the typical person that would, you know, go live. And meanwhile, I just told you guys my number one tip would be to go live, because that's what works, guys. And sometimes you just have to take a little step out of your comfort zone to be successful with this business. I wouldn't be Presidential Diamond if I didn't go live all those times, trust me. And if I didn't just take that little leap out. And that's what I tell people who are shy, because I have a lot of shy girls on my team too. And that's how I was able to attract them, because I tell them same thing in a voice message. If they say, oh, I'm like way too quiet, way too shy to do something like this, I say, listen, like, I get it, because that was me. I was so shy when I joined this business, still am, like, afraid to talk to new people sometimes. When I go out in public, don't really know a lot of people. That's uncomfortable for me. But what I can tell you is that I'll show you how to grow your network, talk to new people in a way that's more comfortable for you. It's super important to make sure they know that you're going to be helping them like every step of the way, and you're in this together. You're going to lock arms with them. And if they understand that you felt those same feelings, but you're able to guide them to, you know, be successful, even if you're not extremely successful yourself yet, that's okay. They don't know what a Presidential Diamond is versus a Ruby. They don't know that when they're first joining. So they just want to hear that you're going to be there to help them every step of the way. And that's what's so important when it comes to like, especially shy people, because they're a little bit more reserved and they have no idea what they're doing. But you know, you didn't either when you first started. So that's okay. And that's what I would say objection wise between the two of those.
I love it. I think that especially for the people that are shy, when your network knows that you're shy, that you're awkward, that you don't like to get out and talk to people, and they see you being bold and going live or showing your face more on social media, that will totally rock their world, and they will pay attention to it because they see you doing something. They know you're serious about it, because you otherwise wouldn't be putting your face out there. And I think it actually is a huge perk for those of us that are shy, that are uncomfortable with those things, when we can just step out and do it. And you can't say like, I want to be a Presidential Diamond, but I won't do this list of things. Like, you can't have that. Like, some things are just going to be uncomfortable. I love it. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing your tips. I know that everyone gets, I mean, those are my two most popular, probably busy and too shy. we are going to pop over to Gina, who is going to share her story with you guys.
Hello. So
Hi,
my name is,
look at you, your hair and makeup.
I know, it was an accident that I got my hair done today. It'll never look this cute again. But no, my name is Gina Smith, and I have been in the business for 7.5 years, which has gone by so fast. It's amazing. I used to be a juvenile probation officer, and I've been married for 21 years, and I have 2 kids. And some of the stuff you're going to hear repeatedly, because I think it's just important, because you need to realize that all of us have unique stories. You're all on this Zoom because you told someone yes, but your story is still unique. No one has the same story. So you're going to hear some parts of people's stories that may be similar, but you're still very unique at the same time. And my story is, I have a very good friend who asked me for 9 months to join this business. And, she was gung-ho. She was excited. I thought she was crazy. She had emails that were this long. I'm ADD, so I read like the first 2 lines and then deleted it. All the things. So repeatedly ask. Then she said, hey, will you go to this opportunity information thing? And I went there just so I could tell her to never call me again. No, don't bother me about the business. I am so excited for you, but it is not for me because I am too busy. I am too old. I have a special needs kid. I already have a full-time job. I'm a volunteer for everything. I don't know. I don't even have a Facebook. I don't know social media. There wasn't no such thing as social media. I didn't have Facebook. I didn't know what Instagram was. I didn't know any of the little initials. I didn't know any of that. I don't know how to build a business. I know how to lock up kids. I don't know how to market anything. All the excuses are going in my head. And then I went to this meeting prepared to tell her to bug off and realized, oh my gosh, I know everyone who wants fat fighters because all my friends eat like crap. And if I could just sell one product, I can make $1 million selling fat fighters. And so that's what you need to realize is that everybody's story is a little different, but you're going to get that one person that is going to be like, okay, I can do this because they finally got the right information in front of them. And so you can't, I know it sounds weird, but don't say the same thing all the time. I know it sounds weird because we're always told like, tell before, then tell about your life now. But you might want to shove in something about your favorite product every once in a while. Brielle just said, she got a lot of customers just because she had this big splash with reds all over the place. And the thing is that those customers are potential distributors. So the great thing about this business is that there's so many different ways to share the business, but the thing is you have to ask. Now, I am like I just said, I lock up people for a living. So I was not shy to talk to anybody at all. And so that whole thing, oh, I'm shy. I'm like, it's like, wah, 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 wah. I'm like, I don't get it. So that wasn't the problem. It was just all this other stuff in my head that I didn't realize what the value of this business was. The value of the business is that you can work this business when you want to work this business. So for people that are super busy, you need to let them know there is huge value in being a business owner. I had no idea 7.5 years ago that when my child, he was 1 when I signed up, needed to make extra income. And when he was 2, he got kicked out of 3 daycares because he's a runner. He has Down syndrome. So he's a runner. Had no idea that 6.5 years ago, I would have to come home. No clue. But at the same time, the Lord had a plan for me. So he had it all orchestrated out that I needed to take 9 months to have the seeds were planted. I needed those 9 months to plant the seeds. Then I needed to take another 4 months just to be in a business. And then I needed to take a couple of more months where I was able to triple, quadruple, or 5 times my income because of this business while I was doing all the other things. So one thing that I hear a lot as far as objections, and I think all 3 of us, 5 of us, all 17,102 of us that are on this Zoom will agree that you're going to hear objections. You're going to hear it, because if you think about it, in fact, I got 2 calls today that were somebody who wanted me to do something for them. And my first response, because this is our protective mechanism is to say no. That's our first response, no, because we're trying to protect us. Now, why are we protective of this business? Because we don't know enough about the business. So I know Brielle said it. I know that everybody, I know Jamie's going to say the same thing. Get people on the phone. I know y'all are freaking out, but they do voice message. I'm over 50, so I call people. It's just what 50-year-olds do. And so get people on the phone. Let them hear you. Do you know you can do more with a 10-minute phone conversation than you can for a 2.5-hour text conversation? So when it's something this important for people to understand that, number one, we have a real business with real income. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a crazy networking thing. This is a real business. And when people hear you and hear the conviction in your voice, they're going to go, oh, she's a real person. She's not a robot. It is a real business. Or he will go, oh, I can make money with this. I can do that. So it's so important for people to know that you're real and authentic. Just be yourself. I know that there's a couple of people on this Zoom that I just walked into the office and I said, I need your social security number. And they were like, why? And I said, because I'm signing you up as a distributor. And they were like, okay. And there's some people that you can approach that way. Some people probably would call the cops on you. But you just have to know your audience, and you also have to know the value of this business. Know that you're going to be told no, and you're going to live. It's okay. Just take a deep breath. The fun thing is that when you get in your head, you're like, okay, I'm going to be told no, and I'm going to be okay with it. And then the great thing is that when those people that told you no, then they say yes, and they come into your business and they change your business forever, and you have changed their lives forever. I am so grateful to this day that that person bothered me for 9 months, because I wouldn't have any of this at all. I would not have any of these opportunities. And so I am so extremely grateful. And then the last thing I just have to say is you just have to ask. It's okay to ask. I think in this day and age, we're so afraid of hurting someone's feelings. And I have to go back to what Alyssa said. You're hurting their feelings by not asking. That's how you have to use it in your head. What if they're going to sit around a year from now and go, I was forced to come home from work because my kid was kicked out of daycare 3 times, and they have nothing to fall back on. And so it's doing them a disservice if you don't ask. It's not your job to say yes for them, but it is your job to ask and be excited. If they say no, it's okay. But just that gives them the opportunity in their head to go, that might be something I can do. And so they may have to process it a little bit. So those are just a couple of my tips.
I love that. I remember Pam sharing a story about someone that didn't join her. And she eventually asked that friend, like, you've seen me doing this for so long, like, why didn't you join me? And she just thought, I just thought you didn't think I'd be any good at it. You never asked me. I'm like, ooh, like, makes you want to ask everyone right? So that they don't join someone else because they think that you think they won't be good at this. Did you want to touch on maybe someone that thinks they are too, did you say too old or doesn't know social media enough? Would you just pick up the phone and call that person?
Yes. So you just have to do with that person and just ask. Again, it's about asking. A lot of times I'll say, hey, would you rather? Because I know some people, like if I was talking to Brielle, she's not going to pick up the phone and talk to me, but she will text me or she will voice memo me all day long. So you're just going to have to get to know the people that you're asking and just ask them, hey, do you want to have a 10-minute phone conversation? Or I love the way that Amy Malott, she says she schedules time. She's like, I have an availability at 1:30 or 2. What time is good for you to have a 30-minute conversation about the business? And so again, there's no wrong way. Just know that you have to ask and talk and be excited. And adding distributors is incredible for you, and it's incredible for your business, and it's incredible for that person. So you can't go wrong.
I love it. Something else that you said made me want to remind people that they say that a person goes through a major life change about every 9 months. So if you don't plant the seed now, someone might say no right off the bat. They're not interested. 9 months from now, they could lose a job. They could have a baby. They could, there's a million things that can change in your life that might make you want an extra income or want more freedom or have a debt that you have to pay off. And so just keep that in mind. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner that person is going to need something that we have to offer. I can't tell you how many people, I mean, you said it, like people will tell you no and then eventually come back and tell you yes. So that's why the seed planting is so important. Okay, so we are going to move over to Miss Jamie, if she wants to jump on here and just share her story with you guys.
Hey y'all. Okay, so for those of y'all that don't know me, my name is Jamie Whitehead. I have been in the business I just had my 3-year actually at the end of June, and I have 2 little kids. I have an 8-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl, married to my boyfriend, and we just live in Texas. I am home full time doing this now, but that was definitely not the case whenever I first started. When I first started, I was way too busy. In fact, I was a customer for 7 years and nobody ever asked me to join the business. But had they asked, I would have told them no, because 1, I thought it was a scheme, and 2, I was way too busy. And so I saw some friends. I joined in June, so I had just watched a bunch of friends go through promotion season, boom season, the spring. Everybody earned double good bonuses and all the things. And I was like, man, maybe that's real. And you know what? Gina said the word value. You have to bring value to a busy person, because had I not seen my personal friends earn big money, I wouldn't have invested $100 or whatever. So fast forward, I signed up. I was actually a $9.99er. I don't know who was around back then, but $9.99 was all I was willing to invest in this company to get started, because I was so busy that I was sure I was going to fail, y'all. I was 100% sure. So I signed up and I thought, oh, well, I love the wraps. At least I'm going to get a pack of wraps out of it, like for $10. That's awesome. We'll see if I do anything. And then somebody told me what a fast start was. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I can earn a fast start, and it's still this crazy promotion. So I kind of pulled a Gina, and I was like, you're my mom, you're my sister, you're my best friend, you're my whatever. And in 3 days, I enrolled 14 distributors as a brand new distributor that didn't know what in the heck I was doing, that I was positive I was going to fail at this business, like had no time, no reason for joining. I had a great career, y'all. I was an IT director before I joined this business, and I had a great career. I had no reason to be here. But I just watched it and I was like, man, I do have some student loans. Like if I could earn a bonus like that, that would be cool. And then I learned what the fast starts were, and I was like, all right, all y'all are coming with me, because at least I'm going to earn some fast starts. So before I even knew that signing up a distributor was a big deal, or that I couldn't do it, or that I should have a fear of talking to people or any of that stuff. I mean, y'all, I might have been in 8 hours when I signed my first distributor. Like I just went for it. And sometimes you just got to go for it. They call it ignorance on fire. And sometimes you just have to go for it. And there are days even now when I'm having conversations, I'm like, dang, if I just had a little bit of more of that ignorance, that there aren't those stigmas out there or fears or whatever. I'm not going to get told those weird no's. Sometimes I wish for that because it was so awesome just to dive in like that. So like I said, I got started for no reason. I retired last August, and I love it. I'm currently a double diamond, but we will be a VIP team here very shortly. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. VIP coming soon. Love it. All right. So let's dive into, I know you and Brielle had similar tips, but go ahead and share like one or two of your favorite recruiting tips.
So obviously I'm a huge fan of Host to Post. I've been doing Host to Post since like 2018 or something, before it was even as big as it was. And I get 90% of my recruits are from Host to Post, or my leads, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm very, very big, heavy Host to Poster. But just like Brielle and Gina said, the second that the conversation takes a, oh, I don't know if I can do this, Jamie, any type of inkling, I'm getting them on the phone, because I don't remember. I think it was you, Alyssa, that said, like, you have to have confidence in what you have to offer. And you can only hear that. Like, I could type the most elegant or most excited message ever and use 68 exclamation points, but they can't feel me through that. And so I voice memo, and I even get on the phone, depending on who I'm talking to, but you have to let them hear you and let them feel you, because really, we've all heard, people don't buy products, people don't buy whatever, they buy you. They buy the relationship they have with you. They trust in you. And if you're having a cold conversation with, I say cold because we don't know the person. I Host to Post a lot, so I don't know a lot of times the people that I'm having a conversation with, other than the few questions that I've had with them. And the best way for them to get to know me and to feel me and is to hear it. At least it's another sensor for them. So that's my number one. Just get excited and let them feel that. And that's really, I mean, I just Host to Post and have as many conversations, go for no, and just have as many conversations as you can, so that you're going to keep flipping until you get those yeses.
So good. I have a quick voice messaging tip for those of you that are like, nope, can't do it, won't do it, I'm going to stumble over my words. Brielle already told you guys a trick that's really good. Record it to yourself. You can forward it as many times as you need to. But one of the other things that I do, just so that they can hear my voice pretty early on in the conversation, is I might voice message them and say, hey, I'm going to get back to you really quickly. I've got to put the baby down for a nap. I promise I'll message you right back. And the next message might actually be something typed out, but now they've heard my voice. They know I'm a mom, that I'm a real person. And if you're not comfortable actually speaking the information out loud, you can go back and forth. And so sometimes I'll even say, like, I'm really sorry, I might go back and forth between text and voice message because I'm out running errands. I hope that's okay. So just so that they know that you're not a robot, that not everything is copy and paste. So that's a really easy way to kind of just ease into voice messaging and letting people hear your voice. Okay, Jamie, so let's talk about objections.
Okay.
You ever get any of those?
Daily, and all different ones. So, I mean, honestly, they've talked about some of the big ones, but some of them that I get are, I'm not a salesperson, or I've never done this before, I don't know what I'm doing. And I always, I come back at them and I'm like, y'all, I don't know what I'm doing either. Like, I am a leader, I have a huge team, I have no clue what I'm doing. I do have some experience and I will teach you everything that I know. But when I first started, I had never done this before. I jumped in with no time to invest to learn it. And I can promise you that whatever I have, I'm going to give to you. I think that I'm going to go back to the point where I was talking about having confidence. If you're a brand new distributor, that might be a little bit hard for you, but you have some really incredible leaders and really incredible mentors, uplines. Borrow their confidence. Say, hey, I'm having some PDT conversations. Can I get in your inbox and you help me through these? Like, for your first few, or if you're not feeling confident, that's what we're here for, y'all. I still shoulder tap sidelines, uplines, everybody if I get stuck somewhere. Borrow the confidence that you don't innately have yet, or you know what I mean? And so if they've never done this before, reassure him, she, whatever, that you are going to give them everything that they need. I always write little notes because I can get a little all over the place, but I wrote me neither because I had never done it either. And then I I kind of always joke a little bit, and I do this in a voice memo, and I'm like, you know what? You have no bad habits. Like some companies teach you, like you have to recruit this way, you have to brand yourself this way, you have to sell a certain way. You have no bad habits. You're coming in a clean slate, and we've got some really incredible systems and processes that we can teach you. You have me as a mentor that's going to give you everything. And if I give you everything that you need to be successful, as long as you say that you'll use it and actually use it, you will be successful in this, and you'll gain your own confidence just like I have. And so that's something that I always try and joke with them a little bit about, like, hey, you don't have any bad habits, and I'm going to teach you the really good ones. We're going to start off simple, and as long as you use what I give you, then you'll be successful. Can you do that? Would you be willing to use the tools that I give you? And of course they're like, yeah, of course. So then it kind of gets you over that hump. So that's one that I have a whole lot. I'm not a salesman. I've never done this before. Alyssa, you want to say anything before I go into my next one?
You can dive into the next one.
Okay, cool. So I already told y'all that I'm a huge host-to-poster. So my next and probably my favorite one that I get is I don't know people. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So that's no problem. Y'all, if you aren't using host-to-post to grow your network, you are doing your business a disservice. And just like we talk to brand new people that we don't know every single day, that's the first thing that I'm going to teach them to do. Because unfortunately, network marketing doesn't have a positive connotation for every single person that hears about it. And if your niece dives into a whatever, like an aunt may say, hey, you've gotten into something, da 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 da. You've got to get out of that network. Not everybody has a warm network, like when they're first starting out. So I teach host to post right off the bat, just so that they can get some wins. They can have some conversations where they're commenting on something, saying that they're interested in it. And so I love getting them started on that. And then I have a message that I can drop in the chat here in just a minute, and it's called No But in my word board. And it's just for anytime somebody tells me no about anything, I have a message that says no, but it says, hey, thanks so much for being honest with me and telling me that now's not the time or whatever. I appreciate that so much, but I am pushing for a promotion. My team is blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get the word out, whatever you want it to say. Would you be willing to share a post on your wall? And I will enter you into our $1,000 giveaway or whatever the host to post contest is. So anytime somebody tells me no, whether it's to be a customer or a distributor or whatever, I'm going to send them the no, but hey, I appreciate your no, but do you want to host a post for me? So it automatically takes that pressure off, even from the very, very get-go of, hey, you're going to get no's from your family and friends. You're going to get no's from the people that we're host to posting, but we can turn those into potential yeses. So one no does not end your vibe right there. You just keep going. So I love doing that. But host to post is where it's at. I actually enjoy working with people that don't have a super warm network when they're first getting started, because we can get right out of that and they dive into host to post because that's the only thing that's working for them. And it's such a huge game changer for your business that those are some of my best distributors. So if you don't know people, just talk to them and talk them through the tool. It's super simple. You're just going to, it's a huge referral system. Your family member, your mom, whoever may not be able to buy from you, or your best friend from high school or may not want to join you, but they will probably share a post on their wall, especially if they're going to go into a giveaway for $1,000. So that is my, let me see if I have any other notes. That's probably my main thing that I talk about whenever I get the, I don't know people. The other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that a little bit is I get there's so many It Works distributors, or it's oversaturated. I know so many people that sell it. The very first question that I ask is, how many friends do you have, like on your friends list or whatever? And so they'll go and look, and I'm like, okay, cool. How many people do you know personally that sell It Works? And they're like, oh, okay, I have 2,000 friends and I know 3 people that sell it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe 2% of y'all's networks overlap. There are only like 100,000, 150,000 distributors in the entire world out of like cajillions, right? There are so many people who don't know about this business. I talk to people every single day that have never even heard of It Works, don't know what that crazy wrap thing is. And so I just kind of talk to them about that. And I feel like that is one that gets like worked up in their head, and that you just kind of have to like meet them with facts, kind of like burst their bubble a little bit, but just bring them to facts and say, hey, we've got this many in the world and we've only got this many distributors. And I do this every single day. I felt the same way you did. And what I have found is that I talk to people every day that have never heard of us. And they're like, oh, okay, good. So that's something else that I run into pretty frequently. So anyways, that's the second part of that. And this is mom life.
I wanted to share some messages that were going on in the chat in case you guys didn't see. People just kind of talking about like, well, what happens when I lose people at the startup cost? Or they want to start, but they don't have the $99. And you do have several options, and different teams might teach different things. But one of the questions that I like to ask is, so if you had the $99 today, you'd be ready to join? Because that will usually bring out if there's something else. Because like Brielle said, a lot of times they can come up with the money if they're ready to join, but there's usually something underlying there that is actually keeping them from saying yes. And so that helps you dig a little bit deeper. And then you can go into pre-selling samples if you want to do that. Sometimes I'll just like, I'll give people a list of ideas of Poshmark some clothes, sell some things on the Facebook Marketplace. I'll just ask them, can I send you a list of things that other people have done? Because honestly, if they're not willing to hear those ideas or work with you to pre-sell samples, they're not going to work the business either. So there's your answer. So I like asking that question to them. And whoever your leader, your team is, they can kind of walk you through pre-selling samples for that. And then obviously the company runs promotions every now and then. So your goal is to get your list of potentials as long as possible, $99 or not, shy or busy, whatever their excuse is. You want to keep growing that list, because I think the mistake a lot of people make is that they get those objections and then they just wait for that list of people to get over it and sign, and they stop growing that list. While you wait on those people, go ahead and keep growing your list. Those people will come around eventually, and when they do, you'll have a whole other list that you're waiting on. And that's how people become consistently high enrollers, or even just consistent enrollers, is because they keep growing that list while they wait on those other people. I want to just share a few other quick tips before we jump off of here. If you guys have other questions, feel free to ask in the chat, and we'll either answer out loud or answer in the chat before we jump off. But a couple of things. People don't need to know as much as you think that they need to know before joining. I want you guys to think, a lot of you guys jumped in knowing very little. Think about how much you knew about what you were actually going to do as a distributor when you signed up. But yet the longer we're in, the harder time we have keeping it simple. We want to tell everything to everyone about BV and product rewards and all these things that really people don't need to know before they join. So let them ask the questions. You're going to share the info that they need to get started, but I know a couple people, they said in the chat that they have trouble saying too much because it just spills out. We call it word vomit. So my rule of thumb is always a couple of sentences and a question. That's it. That's all I allow myself. And allow yourself to get to know the person throughout the conversation, because the more questions you ask them, the more they are going to understand that you are actually invested in wanting to help them, the stronger that relationship will be. And when they are ready to join, they will join you because they felt like you actually took the time to get to know them. So a couple sentences and a question, even if you're voice messaging. Another thing is, as soon as you get that objection, don't say, okay, let me know. Let me know if something changes. Let me know if you become less shy or decide you know more people. Like, that doesn't happen. So you have to, like we've been talking about this whole Zoom, you have to address the objection. You have to use the feel, felt, found to address whatever it is that they've got going on. Let them know you see them, but that also not going to hold them back from being successful. And then the last thing I want to share is play the long game, you guys. Post to post is really fun because you can get quick, loyal customers, and that's fun. You want to keep doing that. But I think sometimes we do so much of that heavily because it's fun. We go after that quick high. Play the long game. Understand the potential for growing your organization. And like Val said on her Zoom, you might be able to sign 5 customers yourself, but you signed 3 distributors and they all also signed 5. Now you've got 20 customers in your organization. The next month, you teach them to go sign 3 distributors. You guys, the power of 1 is crazy. Even if you went out every month and you signed a new distributor and taught them how to sign 6 customers and sign a distributor, your organization would grow like crazy. There's a video from conference a couple years ago. It's the power of 1. I think you can probably find it on YouTube at the It Works conference, and it'll show you guys in just a couple of months how crazy your business can grow just by sharing the opportunity consistently and then teaching other people to do the same thing. So don't let the objections scare you, you guys. Focus on the size of your list, not the number of the enrollments, because the enrollments come from the list. You have to have a list to follow up with if you're going to sign distributors. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate you guys, Brielle, Gina, Jamie, for jumping on tonight and sharing all these great tips with everyone. And that's it. We hope to see you guys signing lots of distributors in the near future. And I will put this up on YouTube so you guys can all share with your teams.